Guys, I'm literally freaking out. It's 3 a.m. and I just got a notification from myself.
Watching you makes me feel good. Good night. Have a good sleep.
I don't know what the heck to do. Oh my god. I'm literally shaking.
These are the strangest things that have ever been caught on camera. This video shows what appears to be a dark humanoid type creature crawling towards a bunch of boys playing soccer. Once the kids see it, they immediately run away in terror. Nobody knows for sure what this animal was, but many people claim that it was the South American mythical beast known as the Pombero. This next video was taken at the funeral of a 7-year-old girl. It shows one of the balloons that was next to her coffin somehow floating directly to her crying mother in the audience. Many people believe that this was the girl trying to comfort her mother from the grave.
Reacting to the scariest TikTok accounts part 2. This account is unique because a lot of you messaged me on Instagram and you wanted me personally to react to it. My Instagram is Austin Vro if you guys ever want to send me another account. The account we're going to be looking at today is called user 01726472771. It seems this account has racked over 200,000 followers with only 5 videos posted. And the views are just unheard of for a brand new account. This account isn't just a normal TikTok account. This entire account is supposed to represent an ARG. An ARG is an alternate reality game. I'll show you what I mean. Let's check out one of the videos.
Went to the hospital at 12 a.m. and they told me to stay in the car and realized that it's been 3 hours and there's nobody around me. I also checked in the hospital and saw no one.
This person is saying that in this alternate reality there is nobody there and he's able to make these videos and upload them for us. But look at this. We can see there's a bunch of numbers and letters, which is a message. This is what it translated to. Like and follow for more videos.
This is the creepy story about the stare. A girl was on a subway late at night when she noticed a woman staring at her intensely. The woman was sitting between 2 old men. The girl kept looking away, but the woman staring never broke eye contact. It started to freak the girl out. At the next stop, a tall man in a trench coat boarded. He sat down right next to the girl. The woman who was staring paid no attention to the man who just boarded and just kept staring at the girl. Now this really creeped out the girl. The 2 men that the woman was sitting between never once looked in her direction. The girl then pretended not to notice, but each time she looked, the woman was still staring at her. At the next stop, the man in the trench coat got up to leave when suddenly he grabbed the girl's arm and dragged her out of the subway. The doors shut and the subway took off. The girl then started screaming for help, but then the man said, "Calm down. I just saved your life. I didn't mean to scare you, but I had to get you off that subway." The woman that was staring at you was dead, and the 2 men beside her were holding her up.
Cinderella's castle is known as one of the most beautiful attractions in all of Disney World. Thousands of families walk through it each day admiring the art and amazing designs. But almost none of them realize that they're actually admiring the work of a high-ranking Nazi interrogator. During World War II, Hans Scharf was so good at getting information out of POWs that he was nicknamed the Master Interrogator. After the war, he was allowed to go free despite the crimes of Germany, simply because he agreed to help teach the US Air Force his interrogation tactics.
It's only later to find myself standing before a Jewish tribunal. If you want to win the war tonight, we have to make a deal.
Later in life, he was given the job of bringing Cinderella's story to life by painting the murals that tell her story on the walls of the Cinderella castle at Disney World, making him only one of the many known Nazi associates of Walt Disney. Be sure to follow for more of the true dark side of TikTok.
These are the strangest things that have ever been caught on camera, part 2. This footage from a security camera in Alaska shows what appears to be a real-life Men in Black agent talking to the store's receptionist. Unfortunately, there isn't any audio in this clip, but what the man appears to say to the woman alarms her, as she reaches into her drawer, pulls out a gun, and aims it at the man. But all the man does in response is remain calm, lift his hand in the air, tilt it, and then put it right back down on the desk. This seemed to put the woman in some sort of a trance, as she put the gun down and gave him a mysterious package. This next video shows a woman shopping in China when an item behind her mysteriously falls down. She then proceeds to pick it up and put it back onto the shelf. Immediately after doing this, she begins to act very strangely, as if she was being possessed. She then falls to the ground and proceeds to freak out as if she was in severe pain. As the other shoppers in the store try to help the woman, she lets out a ghostly scream which causes the camera to flicker and items to shake. Many people believe that this lady was possessed.
This is why you should never use a red crayon.
This is about a creepypasta called The Crayons.
A married couple who had just returned from their honeymoon decided to buy a house. And one day the husband was walking down the hall when he spotted a red crayon lying on the floor.
Now the couple didn't have any children, so they wondered where this crayon had come from.
The next day the husband came home from work to find another red crayon lying in the same spot.
He was very puzzled and decided to ask his wife about it.
She told him that every day since they first moved into the house, she had been finding red crayons when she was cleaning.
And they were always lying in the same spot at the end of the hallway.
So he tapped on the wall at the end of the hallway and heard a hollow sound. Curious, he began peeling off the wallpaper.
And behind the wallpaper, he found a pair of sliding doors. They were nailed shut, so he had to open them one by one. And then he opened the doors to reveal a small hidden room.
Looking inside, they saw that the walls of the little space were covered in words scribbled in red crayon.
Over and over were the words. Mommy, I'm sorry, let me out. Mommy, I'm sorry.
Scary glitches in the Matrix you won't believe. First, we have glitched to a new location. This story comes from the Reddit user Spirit T, and basically one day they headed out of the house and stopped at a gas station to get some items. They paid for the items with their debit card, but once they got back in the car, they couldn't find their debit card anywhere. They searched and searched, but nothing. When they got home later that day, their debit card was there sitting on the kitchen table, and when they checked their bank account, they did indeed use it to purchase items that morning. What could have happened here? Next, we have the doppelganger reset. A young professional was standing at a crosswalk one day when he saw someone who looked exactly like him waiting on the other side. He not only had the same face, but the same clothes and hair as well. Just as the information was processing in his brain, a truck drove past so that he lost sight of his new twin. Once the truck passed, however, the doppelganger had just disappeared. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content.
And 2 bedrooms upstairs. Because I was the oldest, I got put in the bedroom in the basement. Right when we moved in, I already had creepy feelings about the house. I hated being downstairs by myself. One day I dropped a $20 bill behind my dresser. I decided to move my dresser all by myself, and behind the dresser was this door. It wasn't a normal door, it was really short and just squared. It was also glued off, so I couldn't get into it. Me and my neighbor, who were best friends, worked at it for days to get into it. We finally got it open, and inside was another room. It was almost like an underground attic. The walls were wooden, the ceiling was wooden, there was no carpet, but it smelled awful. My parents found out and they were super mad at me for opening the room. They of course put that dresser in front of that door for a reason because they knew I would explore it. But after that, things started to get weird. Stay tuned for part 2. This is part 2 of my scary childhood story about the door behind my dresser. Of course, my parents were really mad at us for opening it up, so they sealed it back up. They just didn't want us to get hurt from all the rusty nails or if there was mold inside. But I think we released something when we opened that door and a lot of things started to happen. First, I started having night terrors to the point where I would scream at the top of my lungs and not wake up. My parents would have to come downstairs and wake me up and put me back to bed. Then, every single night I would have this reoccurring dream that me, my mom, and my brother were all at a picnic at the beach. This super old lady would walk up to us and she would take me. She then would lock me up in the room behind my dresser. This dream would reoccur every single night for months. It scared me so much that I started to not sleep at night. I developed insomnia and would only sleep for 2 to 3 hours per night at only 8 years old. There was a couple nights where I swear I saw the old lady standing in the corner of my room. My parents just thought I was hallucinating from no sleep though. Stay tuned for part 3. This is part 3 of my scary childhood story about the door behind my dresser. Because I wasn't sleeping and developed insomnia, my parents took me to a sleep therapist. The only thing the therapist gave me was a bunch of sleeping pills. Even though the sleeping pills worked, it made my dreams so much worse. I even started walking in my sleep. I would wake up all the time not in my bed. My covers would be all the way across the room like someone had dragged them over there. One night, one of my best friends slept over and we heard knocking coming from the door behind my dresser. That night when we went to bed, she started speaking really creepy gibberish in her sleep. I had to go get my mom to wake her up. I woke up a couple nights feeling like I was suffocating, and when I swung out of bed, I saw a silhouette of an old lady. My cat even started to sit there and meow and hiss at random things in the corners of the room. But there was nothing ever there. It got so bad to the point where I moved up into my brother's room. If any of you have listened to all 3 parts and are experts on spirits, please message me on Instagram and tell me what you think I released that night when I opened the door.
If you like Rapunzel, this video might not be for you. This is the true story of what the fairy tale is based off of, and a little bit of a warning, it's not pretty. Rapunzel is based off of a girl named Barbara who grew up in Italy in the 13th century. She was apparently so beautiful that her father locked her away in a tower so she could never have a relationship with a man. Though many men still found a way to try and court her, she turned all of them down, stating that she had a relationship with only God. She was a newfound Christian. Her dad, however, was a pagan and was not happy about her being a Christian. When her father found out, he pulled a sword on her and told her if he ever saw her praying again, she would regret it. Rapunzel, afraid from her life, prayed that there was a way she could escape her father. According to legend, a hole then opened in the side of her tower, giving her a chance to escape. Unfortunately, as she was escaping, her father found her and cut off her head. Think about that next time you watch Tangled. Like this video if you want more of these.
Videos that seem innocent but have a terrifying backstory, Part 2. This video shows a man playing Dance Dance Revolution being unknowingly recorded by some people who are making fun of him. The man, Adam Lanza, 6 months later would shoot his mother in the head 4 times while she was asleep, and then drive to Sandy Hook Elementary School, where he would murder 6 adults and 20 children between the ages of 6 and 7. A popular 18-year-old CSGO YouTuber uploaded a reveal of the supercar he had just bought. He had a stream account containing around $100,000 of in-game items, which was banned 6 months later, causing him to have a mental breakdown and commit suicide. He intentionally drove the vehicle into a van, killing him, a mother, and her 12-year-old daughter. This video shows Chris Watts pleading for the return of his pregnant wife and 2 daughters.
If somebody has her and they're not safe, like, I want them back now.
He later confessed to strangling his daughters, hiding them in an oil tank, and burying his wife.